Good evening, everyone. I call this meeting to order. I'm Paul Smedberg, Chair of the WMATA Board of Directors, and I represent the Commonwealth of Virginia. I welcome you to this public hearing. Before we go further, I want to recognize the following officials who are with us here tonight. First, Katie Crystal, Vice Chair, Arlington County Board. Ms. Robin McElhaney-Smith, Arlington County. Also with us tonight is Jennifer Ellison, Board Corporate Secretary for WMATA Board of Directors, John Pasick, Assistant Board Secretary, Alan Watson, Metro's Director, Capital Improvement Programs, and Jim Ash, Senior Program Manager. Mr. Ash will give tonight's staff presentation. This hearing is convened by the Metro Board of Directors to gather public comment on docket R21-01, proposed east entrance to the Crystal City Metro Station. The agenda for tonight's meeting is shown on the screen. Notice of this hearing was made by publication in the Washington Post, and ads were placed in the Washington Hispanic, El Tiempo Latino, Adref, the Afro, Epoch Times, and the Arlington Connection. Information including the notice of public hearing, the environmental report, and the general plans are available at WMATA offices and posted at WMATA.com. Additional information can also be found at Arlington County or on Arlington County's project list. The purpose of this hearing tonight is to gather comments on the proposed east entrance to the Crystal City Metro Station. Briefly, I will cover the procedures that we will follow during the hearing. We will hear from those of you wishing to provide testimony. First, from those who have pre-registered to provide video testimony, and then from anyone who has called in via phone. If you didn't pre-register and wish to provide testimony, please call 1-855-925-2401. Again, 855-925-2801 and enter the code 8137. Again, enter the code 8137. Once you're connected, you can press *3 to put in, and that'll put you in the speaker's queue. And you'll get a notification when it's your turn to speak. For those listening or wishing to provide testimony via phone, if you're watching the live hearing on a different device, please make sure to mute the device so there isn't any feedback. You'll be able to listen to the hearing while you wait in the phone queue. Elected public officials will be allowed 5 minutes, and everyone else will be allowed 3 minutes each. Extra time will be given for translation if needed. I want to take a moment to recognize that this is where we, the WMATA board, listen to you. This is your opportunity to comment on the proposal. We are here to listen. We will not be able to answer any questions during your testimony. Before you begin your remarks, please state your name and the organization you represent, if any. Please note that all statements, including any personal information, such as name, email address, or phone number you provide in the statement, are releasable to the public upon request and may be posted on WMATA's website without change, including any personal information provided. Further testimony may be submitted and must be received by 5 p.m. on Friday, July 23rd. This testimony may be submitted online at WMATA.com/plans and projects. Again, if you wish to submit your testimony online at WMATA.com/plans and projects. You can also mail your testimony to the Office of the Secretary, WMATA, 600 5th Street Northwest, Washington, D.C., 2001. Again, Office of the Secretary, WMATA, 600 5th Street Northwest, Washington, D.C., 2001. If you have any questions about the different ways to provide testimony, I encourage you to contact the Metro staff. Your comments will be part of the public record, and they will be reviewed by the Metro Board of Directors. Changes to the options presented here tonight may be proposed in response to testimony received and subsequent staff analysis. The public comment period will close at 5 p.m. on Friday, July 23rd. I will now call on Mr. Ash for the staff presentation. Mr. Ash.
Mr. Ash has been having internet trouble this evening. I think that we may need to ask Mr. Watson to provide the presentation. I will bring the presentation up now.
Thank you, John.
Alan, yeah, okay, you're there. I see you.
Yep. And
Go ahead.
thank you, Mr. Smedberg. WMATA proposes to construct an east entrance to Crystal City Metrorail Station in Arlington County, Virginia. The second entrance would create a multimodal hub, shorten commutes, relieve future congestion, and support ADA accessibility. The new entrance would be located at or near the intersection of Crystal Drive and 18th Street, and would include a stair and elevator as shown here. Within the station, the project would involve construction of a new mezzanine indicated by a blue circle and arrows, stair and elevator entrance facilities indicated by the red circles, and mezzanine elevator facilities indicated by the green circle. In 2020, Arlington County and JBG Smith executed an agreement to support development of an east entrance. Arlington County then engaged WMATA for support services. Other partners include the Federal Transit Administration, or FTA, the Northern Virginia Transportation Authority, NVTA, and the Virginia Department of Rail and Public Transportation, DRPT. Working with its partners, Arlington County will be responsible for project financing. An environmental report for the project has been prepared and is available for review online. The analysis indicates no substantial permanent impact. There will be moderate impacts during construction. These impacts include changes to traffic patterns, air quality, and noise. JBG has agreed to provide WMATA and Arlington County any property necessary to support construction of the new station entrance. The Federal Transit Administration has identified the class of action under the National Environmental Policy Act, NEPA for short, as a documented categorical exclusion. Arlington County submitted documentation to the FTA, and FTA approved the categorical exclusion in April of 2021. This concludes the staff presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Watson. Sorry about that. Sorry, Ellen. And now it's time to call on the first witness. As a reminder, public officials are given 5 minutes to speak. All others are given 3 minutes. We'll begin with Arlington County Board Vice Chair, Katie Crystal. Ms. Crystal.
Well, good evening, Chair Smedberg. Thank you so much to you, the members of the WMATA board and the WMATA staff for this opportunity to share on behalf of my colleagues on the Arlington County Board our enthusiastic support for this project to construct a second station entrance to the Crystal City Metro Station at the corner of Crystal Drive and 18th Street. This project is the result of a partnership between WMATA and the county that spans more than a decade at this point. It is consistent with our adopted county plans, and it's going to help support the ongoing redevelopment and growth of a rapidly growing urban neighborhood. Mr. Watson's presentation well detailed many of the benefits that the second station entrance project will deliver to all of the riding public, including the elevators, stairs, new mezzanine levels, fare gates, fare vending machines, and importantly, it will help address future crowding conditions at the station, already one of the busiest in the WMATA system, while providing direct access and connections to other transportation options to businesses and residences on the Crystal Drive corridor. Importantly, Crystal City is a multimodal hub. It's a stop for not only Metrorail, but the Virginia Railway Express, many commuter bus routes, premium Metro bus service, local bus service, and of course, pedestrian and bicycle facilities. The second entrance is going to improve connectivity to all of those. Together, we know that WMATA and Arlington are well positioned to jointly advance this project, and we are committed to ensuring that it is a success, not only for Arlington County, but improving transit access for the entirety of the Washington region. Thank you again for the opportunity to share our support.
Thank you, Ms. Crystal. Appreciate those comments. Next, we'll turn to those who have pre-registered, and the first person will be Mr. Darren Buck, followed by Donna Inman. Mr. Buck.
Thank you. My name is Darren Buck, and I'm not here representing any organization or any past or present employers, just me. I want to talk about what we're not getting with our $95 million multimodal hub. We're not getting an escalator. The elevators may make it ADA compliant, but without an escalator, we aren't maximizing accessibility. We don't get a direct connection to the planned northern entrance to the VRE station, where people will have to, 1, walk up a grade from the tunnel under the railroad tracks, 2, cross a private driveway, 3, pick their way through the sidewalk constrained and cluttered by the Metroway bus shelter and signage, 4, cross Crystal Drive at a signal, and then 5, go back down the stairs but not an escalator to get to Metro. Perhaps not quite as intuitive and direct as one should expect for $95 million. But mostly, I want to highlight the southbound unprotected Crystal Drive bike lane that runs directly adjacent to this proposed new entrance and is directly across from the entrance to the Mount Vernon Trail, and how $95 million buys us yet another safety hazard for people who bike in National Landing, but not simple protection for that bike lane. The county made it clear in their March meeting on this project and through their extended Crystal City bike network planning and on myriad other projects in myriad other ways that they do not want to protect this bike lane. Likewise, JBG Smith, when they recently rebuilt this entire streetscape for the Central Retail Project, proposed and executed a design that includes 2 feet of curb space intended for people to swing open and exit the passenger seat of cars picking up and dropping off in the bike lane rather than protecting the bike lane. What we've seen repeat over and over in Crystal City is that when a trip attractor opens, unprotected bike lanes are swamped and rendered unusable by drivers. We saw it when new liner retail opened along the 2100 block of Crystal Drive. We saw it on 18th Street alongside the existing Metro entrance, and we're beginning to see it just north of this project site with the new retail just beginning to open there. In fact, in 2019, volunteers went to the 2100 block of Crystal Drive to prove just how bad the problem was and logged nearly 200 instances of drivers blocking the bike lane in only 5 hours. That pattern will, of course, repeat once you build this metro entrance without protecting the adjacent bike lane with a hard median. It'll attract pickup drop-off activity from drivers, and I'm not telling you this with any real expectation that you're going to change your draft design and reapportion a couple of feet of off-street space to build a hard median barrier. Because I know where people ride bikes, like my daughter and I and my family and friends who would ride bikes if our streets weren't so poorly suited for that purpose, fall on the collective list of priorities. Instead, I wanted to make sure that this information was conveyed to all of you, WMATA board, Arlington County, JBG Smith, and whatever engineering firm is someday going to stamp these plans in a recorded public meeting, so that if, God forbid, someone riding a bicycle is injured or killed while trying to get around a driver parking illegally in this bike lane, dropping off at this new metro entrance, their personal injury attorney can dig up and point back to my testimony and prove that you are all collectively forewarned of this safety hazard.
Thank you, Mr. Buck. Next, we have Ms. Donna Inman, followed by Chris Slatt. Donna?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Everyone hear me okay?
We can.
Okay, very good. So I'm Donna Inman. Like Mr. Buck, I am not here representing any organization or company. I'm an independent citizen. I'm actually self-employed. I'm a resident of Crystal City, and was very excited when I learned that there was a possibility that there would be a new east entrance to the metro. Just to share a little bit of personal information, I'm visually impaired, moved here to the Washington, D.C. area many years ago for very specific reasons. So while the neighborhood and its surrounding area meet my needs to a large degree, there are still a lot of deficits, a lot of sidewalk issues in this neighborhood, a lot of other kinds of concerns that affect me probably more specifically than they would a normal sighted person. However, I do have I am really excited to hear that that this is a potential, coming because obviously it's going to provide an extra entrance and an extra exit from the metro station. It's closer to where I live. Again, that's a sort of a personal thing. But I also feel that with Amazon coming to the neighborhood, there's going to be a large number of foot traffic, and we just need extra way to get in and out of the metro station. Hopefully we are all going to get back to normal eventually from the pandemic that we've just all recently experienced. But I'm very hopeful that another entrance would contribute to that in a positive way. I do share Mr. Buck's concern that there's no escalator. Okay, we have a lot of aging people here in the Crystal City neighborhood, and we can't assume that one elevator is going to solve all of those issues necessarily. So I do share the concern with him on that, and maybe other people as well. But overall, I'm pretty excited to hear about the possibility as it gets mapped out. And I feel like the planning of this project is in keeping with everything else that's also going on in the neighborhood. And why fall behind? We shouldn't, I'm glad to hear that maybe WMATA and the other Arlington County entities do not want to fall behind on this issue. I would hate for Amazon to be here in full force, and yet we don't have this entrance when we need it the most. With that being said, I mean, there's a lot of other obvious things that I think it would do, which I think was already—
30 seconds, Donna.
Okay, thank you so much. I do think overall there's some tweaking probably that needs to be done from the engineering minds, which of course is not me. I'm more of the consumer, but I do think that is an exciting project, and I think it's long overdue for this neighborhood, and it would be commensurate with what we're going to have coming here to have an extra entrance.
Thank you. Thank you, Donna. Our next speaker is Chris Slatt.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Chris Slatt, and while I've been chairman of Arlington's Transportation Commission for many years, I am speaking today in my personal capacity. First, I just want to express really strong support for this project. This second entrance is a critical piece of the puzzle to create a multimodal hub in Crystal City. Between this second entrance, the nearby Metroway BRT system, the soon-to-be built new Crystal City VRE station, possibility of future Amtrak service at that station, the direct connection to the Mount Vernon Trail directly across the street, and the potential for a direct bike and pedestrian connection between this same area and National Airport. The potential for this area of Crystal City is difficult to quantify in how high it is. That said, it is critical to get this design right to ensure this space works for all users. Crystal Drive is already a busy area where we struggle to allocate sufficient space for the many modes that seek to travel in this area. Metro entrances generate a lot of pickup and drop-off activity, from private vehicles to ride-hail vehicles to private shuttles. Many vehicles concentrate at these major transportation facilities. We have a direct and extremely negative experience with what happens when this pickup and drop-off takes place adjacent to a standard painted, unprotected bike lane. The Hayes Street bike lanes immediately adjacent to Pentagon City Metro are not only notorious anecdotally among the Arlington bike community for being a constant source of danger and frustration, that danger and frustration has been quantified. One day in September of 2016, a crowdsourced software project called Parking Dirty looked at just how frequently bike lanes in Arlington are blocked and determined that those lanes adjacent to Pentagon City Metro were blocked by one vehicle or another for more than 60% of daylight hours. These same experiences are repeated throughout Arlington in the Fairfax Drive bike lanes at the Ballston Metro, the Wilson and Clarendon Boulevard bike lanes at the Clarendon Metro. This entrance cannot repeat those mistakes. With the Mount Vernon Trail connection so close by, cycling to and from this hub is going to be a common choice. We can't ruin it with the possibility with blocked and dangerous bike lanes. This entrance needs to either add protection to the existing Crystal Drive bike lane or ensure that some other Arlington capital project does so prior to the entrance opening. Similarly, Arlington's master transportation plan calls for bike facilities on 18th Street immediately adjacent to this entrance. This project has got to build that protected bike lane on 18th or ensure that some other Arlington capital project does so prior to opening to make sure this station works for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. We have no more pre-registered speakers, but John, I understand, do we have 3 or 4 speakers in the queue on the phone?
I'm going to double check. I don't think we have any speakers in the phone.
Or maybe I'm just saying that there are people listening in. Okay. All right, I'll ask one final time if there is anyone who hasn't already provided testimony who wishes to speak. If you haven't spoken and want to provide testimony via phone, again, you can call 1-855-925-2801 and enter the code 8137 and then press *3. While we're waiting to see if anyone joins at the last minute here, I want to thank the 3 speakers we had. Appreciate or 4 speakers, sorry. Appreciate all your comments, and we will take them into consideration. John, anyone in the queue?
No, sir.
Okay. After tonight, written comments in writing or by email address should be shown here, on the website. The public comment period, again, will close on Friday, July 23rd at 5 p.m. WMATA anticipates issuing the staff report for public comment in August. The project team anticipates that the project will be submitted to the WMATA Board of Directors in October. John, any final speakers?
No, no final speakers.
Okay, hearing none, this hearing is now concluded. Again, thank you all very much and good night. And Alan, thanks for stepping in there. All right, take care, everyone.